All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the evening drive. Listen, if you're driving home right now, stuck in traffic, or sitting in a parking lot pretending like you're still on a phone call and you don't have any, just don't want to go back inside yet, you're in the right place, right? This show is auto related, yeah, but honestly, it's for everybody because whether you sell cars, sell houses, sell ideas, or you're just trying to survive work and keep your sanity, you're going to relate, right? We're talking some real life, real news, real opinions, and probably a couple months where you're going to be like, yep, that's me. Listen, my name is Sam Cox, and along with me is my man, Evan Walters. Evan, how was your day, brother? How was your weekend?
What up? What up? What up? Yeah, my weekend was as productive as it could be, man. We got a lot of ice, some snow. It's definitely winter around here in Kentucky, that's for sure.
At least it didn't hit like it was supposed to. My brother's up in central Ohio, and he sent me some pictures last night. They got like 18 inches of snow. So he spent
Oof.
7 hours with this winter storm shoveling the driveway. I called him nuts because I'm like, why didn't you have something else besides a shovel? That's all the kid had was like a shovel for his like driveway and his sidewalk.
Jeez, that's a different level, man. 18 inches and some ice and this brutal cold. I mean, brutal cold for us. We're in single digits anyway. I know we've got a couple different dealer clients that are in Minnesota and they were talking -30, -40 degrees. I can't even fathom. I think like once it gets cold enough, it's like just cold, right? There's not how much colder can it get? -40? That's insane.
Yeah, Jesse from Knopfler Chevrolet. He's like, "Hey, listen, next time you come, you need to come during this type of weather." He sent me a screenshot. The real temperature was -15 with a wind chill of
No,
like -38. I told him I was
no, I'm
good.
out. I'm out,
Yeah,
man. I'm out. I'm out. I'm
I'm
out.
good. All right,
Yeah.
let's jump into it a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
listen, right now, jump into the lot walk, okay? The lot walk's a little bit of headline news, some things that are going on right now. Number one, we got the winter storm. I mean, what do you I know we were just talking about Evan, but I mean, what do you think about this winter storm? It didn't really hit us like the way they said it did.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of hype, in which I mean, if you're from Kentucky or anywhere around here, they like to hype that stuff up, especially, it's a once in a decade type storm. Now, granted, we did get some ice and we got some weather. It wasn't what it was supposed to be or what it seemed like to some, right? And I think that ties into kind of our topic today, which was being proactive, not reactive. And what does that mean to you when you hear that, Sam? Like being proactive versus reactive?
Well, I mean, you don't want to sitting around and just waiting for, the opportunity. I joke around with the salespeople all the time when they're not doing like a prospecting and stuff, and the managers too. I mean, they're waiting for the up bus to arrive. I mean, there is no such thing, man. For you guys waiting for the up bus, you new guys are just waiting for the up bus. It's not
Yeah,
arriving. They've been messing with you
yeah.
the whole time.
That's right. That's
So
right. It's
what
a
do you think? I mean, what do you look at it? I mean, you ran
yeah,
a bunch of different positions. I mean,
yeah.
when you're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. I mean, what especially think of this. I want to look at this point of view, okay? You sat in the finance office for years. And in those particular
Hmm.
cases, you're kind of waiting for someone in a lot of cases to bring a deal to you. So, I mean, what was it for you to be like proactive instead of reactive?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is doing the things that we don't always do, doing the things that we aren't required to do, right? Or our job title doesn't say that we have to do. I think that's a big part of being proactive, not reactive, and preparing for what might happen in some scenarios. That way, when it does, or if it does happen, that you already have a game plan. I think a lot of the times in referencing finance or F&I world, like we just wait for certain deals to come and we're not out there actually structuring the process or bringing in business that wouldn't be business before. I say that a lot. And on my call today with a couple finance managers, 30, 40 finance managers throughout the nation, we were talking about how can we get involved in these scenarios and in these deals earlier. And a big part of that is being proactive with our frontline warriors, is what I like to call it, our salespeople, grooming them and helping them become the best versions of their self so that it makes it easier for us. I think that's a big proactive, not reactive statement.
Yeah, and I think I think another way we could look at it is this. I mean, another big topic right now is the new car inventory is down. The used car inventory is gaining momentum across the country. I think Glenn told me recently new car inventory or new car sales is down 35% across the country.
Damn.
Those dealers that have been proactive and been building up their used car inventory, they're the ones that's actually still, I mean, yeah, maybe they're hurting a little bit more this month because of the, new car pace being down. But on the flip side of that, they've been able to grow. I mean, look at like Bob Ruth Ford. I mean, that place is insane, insane. Was
Yeah.
it 8-1?
Yeah. They they've made a move. I don't know exactly the numbers, but I do know that they've grown a lot in a short amount of time, and a lot of it was planning and blueprinting, like Rob Dale, Rob Ruth, and a couple of other guys over there. They're meticulous about planning and about executing and planning for multiple different things, right? Like I think of it like a business, like a tree, right? There's multiple branches that go off of it, but at the end of the day, it's still one big business. So understanding it, just because you might go left instead of right, being prepared for that and understanding what that means and the next steps to take, I think is a big proactive, not reactive thing too.
Yeah, and I mean, like with us, like when we were in Paris, it was one of those things where we were taking new car inventory. I remember once getting a truckload in, like in the middle of the winter. They were convertible Camaros, and I'm like,
I do
Jason,
remember
what
that.
were you thinking, dude? It's like
Yeah.
I think they were ice on. 'Em. We were having to like
Yeah.
scrape off because I like,
Yeah.
who do you think is buying that? However, because we took all those, the manufacturer, GM, they went ahead and gave us more inventory later on down the road, so it kinda helped us
Yeah.
to grow, but, yeah, I mean, we were thinking proactive, we weren't thinking small picture, we were thinking big
Yeah.
picture.
And, going back to that, I remember we were on, like, a hill, and there was a slant, going down, like, towards, like, Walgreens area, and we had, like, 15 or 20 of them up on this hill, and it was solid ice, and us as salespeople had to go move them. And to move them, you, like, barely hit the gas, and 2 people were guiding the back end as it was floating around the parking lot. Like,
I can
fun
remember, like,
times.
there were 4 of us in the front trying to push, and at the flip side, you had the grass right here to where you could get your leverage,
Yep.
but as soon as it started to move, you now were on ice, so you had to, like, really position yourself to where, like, how far can I lean without
Yep.
actually taking a step? Because if I take a step, I'm gone. You lean too far, you're gone, so this is what a dealership's like in the middle of winter. For those of you that's never been in something like that, it's
Yeah.
treacherous. It can
Yeah,
be, like,
man.
really treacherous.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm looking out the window and see a bunch of snow, and we got a hill across the way here at the school, and we were going to take the kids sledding here in a little bit. What are some sledding or some outdoor tips or tricks when you're out in this mess?
Man, sunglasses.
Okay, that's
Ironically,
unique.
as we're sitting here talking about, because the sun, as you're walking around outside, and you don't think about it, but the snow
I
kind of
wouldn't think
reflects right
about that.
back at you. So your eyes actually, and I'm not sensitive to the sun. Like my wife and
Yeah,
son, they have to, as soon as we go outside, they got to put their sunglasses on. Me, I'm not. I could walk around without
yeah,
sunglasses on in Florida. But as
yeah.
soon as that snow, it glistens off, it gets right back into my eyes, and swear to you, it's like it hurts. It
That's
hurts.
that's something I never would have thought about would be sunglasses, like the typical hand warmers, the gloves, the, toboggan, triple layered, all those things, the boots.
Oh,
I even,
dude, I saw the coolest one yesterday. I was playing around. I think I was on TikTok or something. This lady said, "This is the way you should put on boots for the wintertime." So she had a pair of socks on, and then she took aluminum foil and
I
wrapped it
saw
around her
that.
foot, on each foot, and then put another sock on, and then put it down. And it said, "Think about sledding," because she literally was tubing down at like a big hill when she
Yeah.
actually did that. I gotta try that because I'm gonna have to go out here and shovel this stuff. So I might try that,
Man,
try some aluminum foil.
I don't I think that's the tin hat, right? I think that's like, calling all the aliens with the tin hat. That's false.
I
That's myth
ma
busted, brother.
we're
I don't
about
know
to
about
find
that.
out. I'm gonna record it too, and if it
I'm
works,
gonna see
then we're
this.
gonna see. Otherwise, I'm gonna freeze, and it's gonna be annoying because I'm gonna be
Y
crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
yeah,
So,
that's something, man. That's something.
how
Um,
about the other big
go
news
ahead.
topic, this weekend is the Super Bowl set. The Super
Oh,
Bowl is
yeah.
now set.
Mm,
The Patriots are
unfortunately,
back.
yeah.
The Patriots are back,
Uh,
and your Broncos lost
they did, man.
to.
They did.
And what a great game, Mike!
What
Anybody
a
that watched that
crazy
game,
game.
unbelievable. I mean, going from that weather, since we're talking about snow, going from that weather, that just lets you know what kind of weather they get in Colorado. Because in like what a quarter's time, you could no longer even see
Yeah.
the field. It was
Couldn't see the field.
nuts.
Yeah. And think about how proactive and planning they had to be. Like both teams, it's so crazy, right? Because both teams are from that type of environment, some portions of the year, right? Like
Yeah.
Colorado, yeah, they get their snow and their weather. So does New England
Well,
area.
they
So
showed a
it's
picture.
like
They were getting 18 inches yesterday. It was snowing
that's
bad
crazy.
in New England. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like, what do they have to do to prep for that kind of stuff? Like, imagine if they didn't prep for it and they get hit like they did. Like, they didn't even score. I don't think they scored any points once it started doing that, either team. But just
no.
imagine, like, if it did that the whole game, how would it dictate who would win? The person that would win would be the one that was most prepared and endured the things beforehand, right? Like practice like it was actual game mentality type deal. So
Or
you just
yeah, and think
imagine,
of like the cleats. I've heard that
yeah.
where they have to have like different length, like the cleats that they'll wear, for those type of games. Because my wife,
Wow.
she's sitting there watching she wasn't watching the game with me. Let's be honest here. She never wasn't watching the game with me, but she was sitting there, and Jen's like, will they keep playing if it keeps snowing? And I'm like, well, yeah, they're going to keep playing if it keeps
Yeah.
snowing. And she's like, well, how do they? And I'm like, listen, sort of what you're saying. They're prepared for it. They've got what they
Yeah.
had leaf blowers out there, which is crazy. I hadn't seen that one
Mhm.
before. Leaf blowers out there and things like that. So I mean, just the preparedness and like when I played football, in high school and going into college, it was one of those things you always had to be prepared. You never knew, what was going to bring. You never knew what the game was going to bring. It's the great thing about football, the great thing about sports is you just never know, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. Look at Kentucky basketball. I mean, they're actually beating people right now. So,
Yeah.
um, give the audience some other tips, man. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if it's staying proactive instead of reactive, what are some other tips that you can think of here?
Yeah. So one thing that comes to mind that I wish I would have started a lot earlier was the start, stop, and continue method. So
Hmm.
making
What's that?
three columns on a sheet of paper or computer, Excel sheet, whatever you want to do. I'd always write them down. Start at the top, then go over a little bit, start, stop, and then continue. So three columns, start, stop, continue. And you write down, I'd say the top 5 things that you want to do for each column. And what it does, it just prepares your mind to do what you know you need to do, but actually get it done and have it on paper. So, like anything that you want to start that you haven't started, write it down, right? Anything that you know you need to stop that would help unlock your full potential or to get you to that next level, write it down and commit to it. And then continue like so I think sometimes we take for granted some of the great things that we're doing currently that we just need to enhance or we need to put more energy and effort to. So like for sales, you're already prospecting, but what are some cool, unique, creative ways that you could prospect that are different from the original way or the ways that you've always been taught? So that start, stop, continue just keeps you grounded, so that you know where you're at and then where you wanna be or where you should end up, right? I think that
So I
helps a
haven't
lot.
heard of this before. So is it like a to-do list, like a blocking a time, or I mean, what is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so you can do it any way you want really, but, the main thing is just listing out some of the things, the areas that you wanna start, some of the stuff that you've always said, like a New Year's resolution is like it's easy, right? Because it's easy to come up with because you do it every single year, but we don't really I don't think that we
Usually just minutes
in
before New Year. You just come up
minutes
with something 'cause you know
before.
somebody's about to ask you.
Right, right, and this way you have a plan. It's a blueprint. It's something that you can go by for X amount of days, and I think it just helps you stay more productive, at least it does me.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that. My wife will sometimes remind me. It kind of reminds me of when she used to work for me, and it was a need, want, must, and it was kind of like
Yep.
I would have her. Honestly, I don't even remember training her on this, but supposedly I trained her on this, and it was like need, want, must. It was like the stuff that we needed to do, the stuff that you must do, the stuff you wanted to do. It kind of sounds a little bit like that. Is that about right?
Yeah, yeah, and, I think the biggest thing is being aware, right? Just self-aware. That's one of the biggest things is just understand what could happen and then try to plan for those things. And when it does or doesn't happen, even if it doesn't happen, you're prepared. I'd rather be prepared and not need it, right? I say that with training finance people all the time. I'd rather my customers, have it and not need it than wish they would have had it at the time and not had it. So
Yeah, hold that thought for a second because you brought up a good point. I want to go ahead before we forget to do it this time because we did last time. We want to make sure tell you guys we have a free event in Lexington, Kentucky on March. Is that March 17th and 18th?
March 17th to 18th, leaders.
Leaders. So if you're a leader, it doesn't even matter if you're automotive, okay? But automotive like leader, a manager, just wanting to find maybe some tips, tricks, wanting to network, wanting to find out. We're gonna hold a free live event in Lexington, Kentucky on March 17th and 18th. The address, what is the address of our headquarters there, Evan?
It's 2443 Sir Barton Way in Lexington, which if you comment or you send us a message or you text us individually, we'll send you all that stuff and recommendations and hotels and all that kind of stuff. We've got you covered.
We do these events usually every month or every other month. And I mean, last time I think we had like 35, 40 people in there for the salespeople. I mean,
Yep.
they continue to grow, and it's one of those things where when you come, you're going to find a nugget, and it's a completely free event. To come in and find out, just network a little bit, learn a little bit. Whether it's about the leadership side, whether it's about the accountability side. Pick our brains. It'll be myself, Evan, Glenn. Do we have anybody else that we've confirmed that's gonna be there yet?
I think there'll be a few, but we're gonna keep those at surprise.
All right, we're gonna keep it under wraps for right now, under wraps. All right, let's jump back into this 'cause I really wanna dig back into this again. The proactive side, yes, but really what you're talking about, because I think a lot of people, if they are they're sitting there thinking, "All right, well, how am I gonna be proactive?" Things like that. Go back into that again. Let's touch on that again about the start. What was it again?
Yeah, start, stop, and continue. And
Start,
really it can
stop, and
be.
continue.
Yeah, and I mean, let's look at it at a sales perspective. Sam, you work with salespeople and managers all
Mhm.
over the nation. So, as a business, if you have a manager or a leader, like we like to call them, what's something that they could continually do to stay ahead of the game, right? Because they've got people below them that are counting on them, and if they're not prepared and something happens, then they look like they can't lead, right? Or they look like they're confused, or that maybe some people just step away from it, right? And don't
Right.
take that responsibility if they haven't prepped for it. So, what do you teach or what do you see from other management, like in businesses? How could they be proactive for their people?
Learn learning something new daily. Always be
Hmm.
learning. The old thing was always be closing. Always
Yeah.
be learning. You should be learning something every single day, especially in today's world where literally taking a day off, and I mean, a mental day off, that you could you're gonna be fall so far behind when it comes to like AI and when it comes to, just
Let's
little
let's
things
uh
like that.
yeah, let's slow down because I think AI, I think this is a great topic that I talked with a couple people here in the last few days or few weeks. It's like AI is such an overwhelming subject sometimes. How could we and I'm gonna go to automotive. How could we in automotive,
Mhm.
like, how do we, Sam, stay proactive, not reactive in the AI sector? Like, what do we do currently? I try to at least, like you said, always be learning, but 20 to 25 minutes per, we'll say, tool, right? Like ChatGPT is not the only one, right? A lot of
No.
people are familiar with ChatGPT now, and they think that that is AI. And that I've even had conversation where some people think AI, like if you're using one platform, it's the same as using all the others. So, like, what's something that we do as a company or that we do on our day to days that how we stay proactive and not reactive?
Glenn preaches 17 minutes a day, that you should be trying
Yep.
to, spend 17 minutes a day. I usually try to spend, more than that, but I'm trying to, figure out at least 17 to 20 minutes a day of learning and staying on top of the new technology that's out there. Because everybody in here, if you, I will be honest, I will say this, it's getting better. When we hold these like live sessions, especially, and I'll ask like who uses AI in here? It used to be
Mhm.
just a few hands going up. Now, this
Right.
last session that we had, like I said, there were 35, 40 people there. And of those people, I want to say it was like 98%, if not or higher, they raised their hand. And they're all using, majority of them were using ChatGPT, but it's a start. I
Yeah.
use ChatGPT every single day. The news that I get every single day is from ChatGPT now. So, I mean, I think that there's ways we can use that without, here's the key, right? Here's the key is that technology is everywhere right now. It's everywhere you turn, there's technology. The problem that comes with it, though, when we're running businesses or we're GMs or or whatever, is the fact that sometimes our employees back at at the the store or back at the dealership or wherever, they're becoming less connected every single day. They
Mhm.
feel less and less connected to the store because, especially on the manager side, because they've been trained one way and they've led one way. And now we're trying to use some of these new tools to create spreadsheets and things like that, which is cool, man. That's cool. But you can't lead with a spreadsheet. You
Yeah.
just simply can't lead with a spreadsheet. We've dehumanized the whole conversation part of like leading because we've tried to use like too much technology, I think.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right, and I think moving forward, how we transact and do business, not just in automotive, I think it's gonna go backwards, if that makes any sense. I think people are going to get to a point where they want that connection. Like you said, that human interaction, at least at some level, right? Like these tools are amazing, but they're not going to grow your business by themselves, right? Like there has
No.
to be someone behind it controlling, maneuvering, making decisions, right? The biggest failures that I've seen with AI or with technology is things like, especially NADA coming up, right? Like you've got some dealers that are going to go out and think that they can find a product to fix a solution, and that's all that they just need to find a bunch of products to fix all of their problems, right? And that's not the case, right? If you overload your people with all these new things and expect them just to execute like normal, like it's not plausible, it's not realistic, right? So finding that one or two tools and really educating yourself and your team educating themselves about it, and then implement that, and until you start to see progress or returns, why add other tools, right?
No, exactly. I mean, that's a little shameless plug. If you're going to be at NADA, stop by and see me. I'll be speaking
That's
for the
right.
first time on noon on Tuesday the 3rd in room 225. And then we got Glenn that's going to be speaking at 1:15 in room 220. And as far as I can tell, okay, I've looked through the list. I think we're the only company that has two speakers, right? Especially
Let's
training
go.
company that has two speakers that's going to be speaking at NADA. So no matter what your thoughts are on NADA, all right, we'll be speaking. So make sure you stop. But
The
that's my topic right there. Honestly, it's about taking technology, all right, the fact that dealers are spending it left and right, and the employees, they feel less connected because they feel less humanized through it, and that the whole future of our business, it's in the automotive industry, okay, is going, honestly, I think you'd even extend that out to any sales profession, all right? It's not, the future is not tech or trust. The future is actually tech with trust.
mm,
That's the real future of, I think, of the entire sales profession, right? Because there's
yeah.
a lot of, I think there's a lot of different types of sales type related type things, especially customer service type stuff that I think AI could replace. Um, but it can't replace that human element. And as long as we continue, to not chase that shiny new object, as my wife like says, I like if it's shiny, I like and new, I like to go chase it. As long as we're not doing that constantly and we're trying to, realize, like you're saying, being proactive and trying to
Mhm.
figure out when is the cutoff? When am I dehumanizing the experience and making it to where my customers or my employees, they're not having it anymore. It's just not the
Yeah.
same. I mean, do you think that what do you see any kind of like right now in today's world, like a place when you should be stopping? Anything that's taking AI a little bit too far right now, even.
Well, I think the biggest part, at least from a like a consumer of any product or going to buy anything, if AI is involved, I'm okay with it, and I'm okay even if it is announce that it is AI, right? Like I bought some
Hmm.
furniture a while back from Ashley Furniture, and they send me these emails, and they even prompt that, "Hey, this is our AI agent that's here to help you with any, any of the claims or anything that I need, basically. And here's how you would prompt it." And it gives me instructions on the next steps of how to get that information. I think that's great, going above and beyond, right? And I think we're getting to a world where we don't have to hide it. I think transparency I know transparency is the key, right? Being as transparent to these consumers, whatever you're selling, whatever type of product or service that you're selling, being upfront and transparent because it's so easy to get the answer now, right? Like I could go on any AI platform, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude. I could go to Google and just search it on my search engine. I could call someone that's nearby or somebody that's experienced that. Like, I think at the end of the day, transparency is going to be key moving forward.
All right. So here's what I want. I want today's play. Okay. This is here's today's play. If you do one thing tomorrow, do this. Right? Would that be like AI? Would that be what do you think? If you had to do one thing tomorrow to be proactive instead of reactive, what would that be?
What would it be for you, Sam, if you were a salesperson? Say you're a salesperson in any profession and you're new to the business, you're new to that job, and you've been prospecting the way that they've always taught you or that they taught you. What's
Hmm.
something that you would do that's new and innovative or proactive?
Well, I'm not sure if it's new or innovative. It's probably old school, but I'd send five, make sure I've got 5 to 10 follow-ups done. And I'm talking conversations, not just a phone call, not just a text message, literally a conversation. And I'd have that done by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So that way, I'd have a structure, a structure to my morning. I found that having a structure, now I'm not a morning person. I'm absolutely horrible with like if I don't get enough sleep and I need to have, the certain time in the morning to like wake up. But once I got to the store, it had to be so structured and routine. I had to, this period, this time I had the, my meeting, and after the meetings, it was this and social media posts, and it just kind of went off from there. But I would say if it was one thing that you could be more proactive, it would be to make sure I'm doing 10 conversations, trying to have 10 conversations by 10 a.m.
Now, what if you don't have like, what if I don't have a book of business or I don't have, I'm brand new. I don't have 10 people to reach out to. What would you say would be your first step?
First step would be just talking to anybody that can. If you're
Yep.
in a dealership, okay, if we're in the automotive side, let's say the service drive, right? Service drive's a
Yep.
gold mine. Let's say if whatever field, whether you're in automotive or you're in just any sales profession, there's businesses around you, and there's businesses
Mm-hmm.
around you that work probably the same hours or close to the same hours that you do, that may not get a chance to actually be able to come in and see the new vehicle or come in and see your product or anything like that. So why wouldn't you maybe go out and visit them instead of sitting around
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the up bus? Why wouldn't you just go out and maybe like prospect a little bit? And here's the key. And I shot a recording for this today to go out for our teams here in a couple of weeks. And it was about prospecting. And it actually mentioned this: when you're going out to prospect, you're not going out to sell. Right? You're not
Yep.
going out there trying to get a commitment. You're going out there to try to start a conversation that
Mm-hmm.
may lead to something today, but more than likely it's going to lead to conversation 3 or 4 to 5 times later. But you're not trying
Mm-hmm.
to sell anything. You're just trying to start some kind of conversation to where you can like it'll lead to something. People think
Yeah.
that prospecting nowadays, though, that it's going out, man, and trying to sell a product. Like going
Yep.
door to door and you're trying to get something today. Then they're so mad when after that first time they go out and they say, I ain't getting nothing out of that. I just passed out
Yep.
a bunch of business cards. I didn't get anything out of it. That's prospecting.
Mm,
That's
right.
like trying to like find and dig business. And you're really the way I want to think salespeople should look at prospecting is A, trying to build your pipeline up. Yeah. But B, it's practice, getting warmed up.
Mm, yeah.
Getting warmed up a little bit by saying the same type of things. So that way, when a customer does come in front of you, you're already warmed up a little bit. You've already had a little bit of
Yeah.
practice.
Yep. I love that, man. I love that. Spot on. And today we were a lot about business, but I want to wrap it up with maybe a little bit of fitness, right? We've got some pillars that
Ooh,
we talk
okay.
about. And one
Yeah.
of the pillars that I'm super excited about, my new journey in fitness for 2026. And I know some of our listeners are really engaged into some fitness this year. So, fitness, like, what does it mean to you to be proactive, not reactive? And I'll tell you what it means to me when I hear about it. On fitness, it's like having a blueprint for what what you think that you can do, mapping it out and trying to exceed it. Just for an example, like I put on myself, I said I want to do 3 Pelotons and 2 to 3 runs per week. And I want to try to beat that, right? I want to beat the whether it be my current output, because on Peloton, it measures like your output on how much output you have. And when I
Hmm.
first started this journey 3 to 4 months ago, I was 215 to 220 output on a 30-minute ride, which is not that great, right? And just the other day, I broke a 390 output. So it's almost double, right? I'm shooting for that 400 output, but I'm challenging myself and I'm being proactive with my blueprint or layout. And I think that's really helped push me is set the boundaries, but in my head, I'm so competitive that I want to beat myself, even when I run, right? Like Glenn's doing this new, he wants to run 4 miles in 7 minute, 30-second pace, which is, that is, uh, that is a hard feat, right?
Hmm.
But getting there, pushing yourself, but setting a boundary you know you can beat and trying to beat it by a little bit every time and then raising the bar. I think that's helped me grow on my fitness journey. What's something that maybe has helped you? I know you're big into fitness too. What's the outlook for this year?
Outlook for this year's, I mean, I plan on racing, more High Rocks races, more, I got a 5K coming up, at Disney in, just a couple months. I
Let's
plan
go.
on getting into a few more like 5Ks. I plan on, honestly, truthfulness is I'm going to start working towards like a marathon, probably in another year, like a half marathon type thing.
Wow. Okay.
But it's like just pushing myself.
Yeah.
But it all starts with showing up. Right now,
Mm,
I've got a back that's pretty jacked up for my last race. So really for me this year so far, and we're what towards the end of January, it's been showing up.
yeah.
Just, whether it's, going over and it's cold. I mean, we talked about it. It's
Yeah.
cold here in Kentucky
Yeah.
for us. All right. For
Yeah.
some people
Yeah.
out there, it's like, this is like summer, but for us, it's cold. So, but just showing up every day, whether it's at the gym, whether it's in my garage, I haven't went outside to run yet. I'm not going to do that right now, but, Evan sends me pictures here. He's like bundled up in face masks and hoodies and this and that. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like in my t-shirt and sweatpants, like, yep, not doing that. So, but it's just going, it's showing up. And honestly, we've got people right now within our group that they're doing the same thing. They're just showing
Mhm.
up every day. We see pictures all the time. They'll send me pictures. Derek Earhart from up at one of our stores in Langenfeld up in Canada sent a picture yesterday. He meant to send it to Aaron, but he sent it to me. And this is like early in the morning. The guy had already had like 11,000 steps or something like that. And we're talking like I think it was 11 a.m. or something. It was early still, and the guy was already like crushing it. So there's so many people out there that's just doing that type of thing. But yeah, I think it starts with showing up.
Yeah, and let's tie this back. Obviously, it's the evening drive, so most of our listeners are probably in the evening, but talking about how do we show up or start after a long ass day at work? You're working 11, 12, 14 hours a day. How do you show up after? Or is it something that you've got to do prior to prioritize before?
My Now you can answer this. With me, it was always I had to do it in the morning
Yeah.
because I put out so much during the day, and the way I like to train my salespeople was this. I wanted them to leave the dealership, leave work with nothing left in the tank. I didn't want them to
Mhm.
be able to still, if they were able to go out and party after they got off work, then they didn't give me everything they had today. So with me,
Mhm.
I had to do it first thing in the morning and take that time to do it. I knew when I was in dealership, it was a little bit different. I had to get up a little bit earlier, but I'd get up a little bit
Mhm.
earlier to go ahead and knock it out before I went in, and then would go ahead. How about
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, man, it was. to be honest, I didn't do a whole lot of it when I was in the dealership. I wish I would have done more. I do a whole lot of it now because I've allocated time and made time for it. But I had a lot of coworkers that would do it both ways, right? At the end of the day, it's just what works best for you. I can't tell you a better way versus a wrong way. It's like whenever you can find the time, even if it's, and start with a short amount of time. And like you said, it's showing up. Like even if you go to the gym 20 minutes, or if you stay up in your right before you get a shower and do 50 push-ups and 50 crunches, whatever, something simple. I know Nick at our office, Nick Gillis, he started this about a year and a half, 2 years ago of
Uh-huh.
doing push-ups, and I think he's like up to 150 push-ups now and does some crunches and pull-ups, and
Yeah, he said
he's
while the
really
bathroom's,
shown.
like, warming up and stuff, he'll actually,
Yeah,
like, just
yeah, yeah,
he's just started doing them, and then
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's a great idea. Honestly, it's been inspiring for me. I
yeah,
mean, knowing Nick as long as I have,
same,
I'll do the same, especially with it being as cold as it is recently. I've been letting the warm water warm up and been trying to knock out a
yeah,
couple push-ups and type stuff. So
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
great idea. But think of where the inspiration, right? Think where inspiration
hmm
can come from any place. And think that's one guy that, he inspires me in a whole lot of different ways, never on the fitness side. But then this right
that's
here is
right.
like, you know what? What a great idea.
Health is wealth, brother. Health is wealth, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before we wrap it up, I do want to give the viewers or the listeners some insights on what to expect the next episode. I think we're going to have our first guest the next episode. He's a
There we
serial
go.
entrepreneur that is from Kentucky. He's from Paris, Kentucky. Long friend of mine, colleague, and friend of Sam's for a while as well, and
Yes.
he's gonna bring some fire. So I'm super excited about that. He's been on the media side. He's done sales. He's done all the things. He's big into the morning five and taking care of yourself and your family and all the things. So I'm super excited for that. Moving forward, we're going to try to add some value throughout some of the people we've crossed paths with over our lives, and yeah, we're blessed to be here in this moment. Anything else, Sam?
Well, I was just gonna say, if anything in here helped you at all, send it to one salesperson that needs to hear it. All right.
That's
Drop,
right.
let's sell supporting sales. Let's get a little hashtag going, sell supporting sales. You'll drop a comment. What's the biggest objection you're facing right now? Maybe we can jump in and ask that. If you want to be on the show, shoot us a message, drop a comment or shoot us a message. Hey, I would love to be on your show. We'll get you going. And remember, no matter what you're going through, there's always the opportunity to get 1% better today. Always the
Yep.
opportunity.
Let's go, man. Well, how do we wrap it up every time?
So let's go out there and let's win the day and let's go.
Win the
Let's
day.
go, guys.
Let's
Thank you for
see you guys.
joining us. Let's go.